النبي وعلى آل سيدنا محمد.
With their emotions and even their smiles, they're very free. Then like you see that they take something on where they start to change a little bit. And I've been thinking a lot that for me as I get older, I'm seeing that so much of how I should be relating to people should be with kindness and cheerfulness. And if that's something that happens from the child time, and that was something that we developed, how do we get rid of all of those things that we put on top of ourselves to go to that naturalness, to be cheerful and kind, which is, from what I understand that you were saying, that's the natural thing inside of us. And what blocks that?
You're mixing up a lot of things. Kids, when they're growing up, they are 3, 4, 5 years old, depending on how you form them. Even when the woman is carrying it, the mood of the woman will affect the baby, sounds that it makes, not to mention your spirituality and everything that affects when it comes out 1, 2, 3 years, 4 years. So there is a fitra that is there, but don't confuse it as they are perfect in that way. They are protected, masum. Until adulthood, they are protected. Protected means that whatever harm that they do, harm will not reach to them. That's what masum means. They're protected from harm. It doesn't mean now everything that they do is perfect. It's filled with kindness and this and that. Especially these days, Chef, and he's saying that they come out, they're born little shaitans, so many of them. Yes or no? So that's mixed up a little bit. However, when they are younger, these days we're lucky if we get 2 years, 3 years. Because after that they start fighting. Right? They start fighting continuously until pre-teens, teenager, then comes down a little bit. Just a little bit. Then later on, the American system, they try to find themselves another decade. And then by the time they're in their mid-20s, then they come down a little bit more to start speaking with each other and try to work something out. It's not really that way of a return to innocence. What we want to try to have are qualities of the Prophet ﷺ. It's not qualities of us when we're 3 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old, 16 years old. And depending on the culture, depending on your how you're raised, according to the spirituality, different groups of people have different things. There are some, by the time they are 1 year old, they're already on a horse riding, coming with it the harshness of life, but they don't become tyrants. There are those that they're spoiled. They don't know anything harsh. Everything is given to them, but they're not so good. There are some, the minute they come out, they start screaming. Everyone screams at them. Screaming never finish. There are some, they never scream at their children. It's against their culture. And so these are different understandings, different experiences, which is like this or like that. Allah gives different nations different secrets. And within that nation, if you're going to carry that secret, or you're going to drop it, or it's going to be perverted, it's going to be corrupted, or it's going to be elevated, it changes from time to time, yes? However, what remains constant is what we want to have. What is it that we want to have? We want to have Muhammad Rasulullah. Because with that, we can reach to La ilaha illallah as believers. The qualities of the Prophet ﷺ. And the qualities of the Prophet ﷺ, it is tremendous. And this is where, not scholars, this is where sheikhs, they come in. They say now, out of this vastness of his beautiful characteristics. What we consider beautiful, what we consider something else, it is still beautiful. You understand? Because he has everything that is from him is beautiful. But it's not to what 21st century eyes are going to say is beautiful, or your culture is going to say is beautiful. Everything is beautiful, but then it'll be taken what is necessary for that time, for that group, those qualities, you say, now have this. It may change. Later on it says, now have that. Later on it says, now put on top of that this. Maybe next there'll be certain qualities which will be contradictory to what you've gotten before. It can be. There's nothing more contradictory than, let's say, Jalal and Jamal. Yes? And these are not contradictions. These are just opposites. This is not cancelling each other out. They're just opposite ends. Which means that you don't have to fight. Contradictions means you always have to fight. You don't have to fight. There's a time for this and a time for that. And the question is now, first you have to say, this is not about me just trying to be nice and trying to be kind and trying to be understanding. No, I have to have these qualities of the Prophet ﷺ in order to carry his sunnah properly, in order to have Muhammad Rasulullah ﷺ properly, in order to love him properly. I have to have these qualities now, which I'm lacking. Because if I don't, I am not going to take the steps necessary in this way. I'll be stuck, I'll be retarded. Understand? And it fits whatever that you are supposed to go through in this way to the times that we're living in, to the community that we're living in, to what we have to have, what our kids have to have. Everything is tied up. It's not contradictory. So, these are prophetic qualities. Every prophet has certain qualities, and they may be opposite one to the other. Correct? No? Yet they are not contradictory. And every prophet must show, just as they are bringing the slow blossoming of Islam, the slow opening of the full moon. So every prophet also brought qualities of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Until Prophet ﷺ, when he appears, he has all the qualities of all the prophets in him. Yes? And better. That's how Allah made him, and better. He has the qualities of from Adam alayhi salam to Nuh alayhi salam to Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ismail alayhi salam, Dawood alayhi salam, Sulaiman alayhi salam, Yusuf alayhi salam. The qualities of Isa alayhi salam, he has all that, but better. So, in this way, it is necessary to have those qualities. Then what do you lack? This is the difficult part, because some thinking tariqat is just worshipping, or just zikr, or just reading Quran, or just reading books. So many tariqat, just reading books, reading book, Arabic, accent, whatever books you read, classical books. But tariqat is something that is alive, and it is not a museum, how you say, a relic. You take out, it doesn't fit anywhere, but you have to put it in a high pedestal, you have to shine something, and then you're like, oh, no, it has to be something that is fresh, and it is alive, and it is relevant, and it is necessary. It has to move according to the time. This is meaning that it is alive, it's not dead, it's not fossilized. So you have to understand yourself then. It took you some time, didn't it? Allah. Why? Same things that they tell us, now that we realize, same thing they told us last year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But we were too blind, we were too deaf, we were too dumb, we were too stubborn to see. It did not become necessary. Still, they didn't let us go. They wait until the time comes, and then it strikes. And oh, this is what it means. Oh, so yeah, good morning. For those who want to change. For those who don't want to change, you are going to lack. You must complete your religion. If you don't complete your religion before you die, then they're going to complete it in the grave. Then it's going to be very, very tough. Now, when you realize that you are completing your religion, and it's not, and you're asking for help, you're trying, they may make it very easy for us because we're not stubborn, we're not arrogant. So, everything in reality is a reflection of the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ is a reflection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right?
Yes.
So take lesson. So take lesson. The children that we have, there's a lesson. A believer is a mirror for another believer. What do we see? Are you seeing, or are you too busy not seeing, doing other things? Dunya. Are you seeing? Are you considering? Are you thinking? Why are you not thinking? We have been created to think. So, once you start thinking, by the time the inspiration comes, and it's very loud, and it's very clear. You know, all these kids here, if one of them is your kid, out of 100 voices, you'll be able to pick out their voice. Right? Yes or no?
Yes.
If there are 2 kids, that you have 3 kids, 7 kids, you recognize each of them. The Sheikh's Prophet ﷺ is able to recognize each and every one of our voices. Do you understand? And those ones out of the billions, those ones who are believers, he doesn't mix them up. He hears the voices. The voice of those who are sincere, who are calling out, he recognizes those voices. Now, when you hear those voices, and those voices are asking for your help, your kid is running around and crying, you cannot sit still. Your heart must move, yes? Imagine now, you think they're sitting still when our voices are crying? So what is his way teaching? How much love there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. He's the creator, of course he does. So many times when we talk about love, oh, it's about how much we have to love Allah. We love Allah, how much we love, yes? But very rarely we hear how much that love cannot work unless you have that love, I have that love for each other. It's impossible. That love cannot work if we don't have love for each other. Because the Prophet loves, who are we to say we don't love? Allah is saying, love whom I love and hate whom I hate. In that most important of time, when Prophet ﷺ was in the cave, this is a Sufi mystic story. And Allah showing them, the Ummah, and he loved Allah showing them, the Ummah, how it will change and many will be filled with wrong, and Prophet cried. in that holy time. So of course I'm not saying that's the only thing that happened, but that is the one thing that happened that our Shaykh are concentrating on. There must be a reason, yes? Thank you, bless you too. And Allah is saying now, your work, O my beloved, is to return your ummah to me as I have created them in the most perfect condition, in ahsani taqwim. That's his work. And the Prophet ﷺ then requested, not that he's in need of anything or he's weak or anything, but this mystical story. People want to misunderstand. You're not mystic. He's saying, he's asking, as the prophets also may ask for helpers. You know? Hazrat Musa was asking for a helper. And Allah then showed him the shaykhs of this order and their murids from that time until Judgment Day, and say, these ones are your helpers. To do what? To reach out, try to help others to clean some way, somehow. Not that we can do too much. Understand how that is a work. Now that love is not there. There's no talk about the love to each other. Now, the work is, your ummah, they will turn them back the way I made them and bring them to me. So now what is our responsibility as Naqshbandis, you think? Singing and dancing, saying, I love you, Allah. You think if the Naqshbandi shaykhs are not hearing the cries of the murids, they are going to come forward? Something to think about. That love now. So, that is the work of prophets, but especially the last prophet, ﷺ, because the earlier prophets, Allah tests them differently with their ummah, and many of those ones, they have such anger towards the ummah. There are so many that our Shaykh says will appear on Judgment Day. The prophets will appear without one single follower behind them. Not one. Now, the work that we have in front of us. First to those ones who are close, then those ones who are closer to the ones who are close, and go on and on and on. The love that you must have, that kind. Like the Sahabi Kiram. Impossible for them to have love of the Prophet ﷺ or love of Allah without them loving each other. Did they love each other? Yes. They took the bullet but for each other continuously. Yet, are they cookie cutter? Are they all robots? Astaghfirullah, like same and behave? No. Everyone was distinct, everyone is unique, everyone is different, and they're able to voice their differences. Because that is more real. That is what life is. So, consider then the love. If you think you have love for your children, then consider the love that the Mashayikh, our Shaykh has, and our prophets have for us. What kind of love Allah has. That He hears the cry of the one who cries for help. Very distinct. Everything in creation. So this is the difficulty to practice this. And this is the work of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. This is the work of the most distinguished Naqshbandi order. It is the hizmat that we have to perform, inshallah. May all the shaitans fall.
Amen.
How patient. Those ones who drive us to despair, they are wrong. Doesn't matter Muslim or non-Muslim. Those ones who make us not to care and just say, what can you do? Allah is in charge. They're also wrong. That kind of attitude, Islam would go nowhere from the time of the Prophet ﷺ until the fall of the Khilafat. We must know what is for us. Right now for us, maybe it's just to open our hands, maybe. There's so many who are doing more than just opening up their hands. We should at least have that. You know, in the beginning, everyone was saying it's very sad, very sad. And I got very upset with people. No, don't be sad anymore. Be ashamed. Have some shame, a little bit. We have shame. Astaghfirullah, Ya Rabbi. But those ones who are able and capable to do, and they are not, we ask Allah either to change them, substitute them with better ones, or to change their hearts. May Allah forgive me and raise Shaf in the station, inshallah. Al-Fatiha.